It's day one of the trial of former Sheriff's Deputy Trisha Stratman.
Now, she's charged with negligent homicide for a crash that killed a 16-year-old Holmen High School student in July. According to court documents, Stratman ran a red light and then crashed into the student's car going nearly 100 miles per hour as she responded to calls for help from her fellow officers at a bar fight. News 8's Pauline Lee was in the courtroom today and joins us now with more on the first day of the trial.
The prosecution in this case argues while police officers have certain privileges responding to emergency calls, these privileges do not exempt them from following the law. The defense says this case was an accident and that Stratman was acting in good faith responding to the call. On July 18, 2010, in the early hours of the morning, La Crosse County Sheriff's Deputy Trisha Stratman responded to an emergency call that would change her life.
1050 squad involved, OT 35. Medical.
The dashcam video showed Stratman on Highway 35 clocking in at more than 116 miles per hour just before running a red light. She then collided with another car, killing 16-year-old Brandon Jennings of Holmen. As the trial began Tuesday, the emergency dispatcher taking calls the night of the accident said the officer originally calling in for the bar fight in Holmen realized he needed more help.
He needed them emergent, which is lights and sirens. His call has escalated from a call where he needed help to a call where he needed help now.
The code was a 1033, meaning officers responding to the call needed to have lights and sirens activated. David Weiss, who lives on Highway 35, says he witnesses Stratman's squad car passing his house that night, but never heard any sirens.
All I seen is a light way down the highway, a blue flickering light. I watched it, all of a sudden it just went right on by, and all I heard was a slight, I didn't even hear the full siren, but I heard like a small roar, and it was gone already.
Another witness, Ben Weigel, saw a squad car in his rearview mirror that night. He says his radio was off in the car, and he didn't hear any sirens either.
When that squad car passed me, there was so much impact, and it was going so fast, it actually shook my vehicle.
Weigel ended up being the first witness on the scene, but only saw the aftermath of the crash.
A dark sedan vehicle. It looked like it had been hit on the side, and the windshield was smashed out. Nobody was in the vehicle.
Angela Berkeley, Brandon Jennings' girlfriend, also took the stand later this afternoon. She was in the car driving in front of Jennings and saw the crash happen in her rearview mirrors. Several troopers also testified today about the accident scene and examining the brake lines in Jennings' car. One trooper said that everything was working normally before the crash and the damage to Jennings' brake lines was a result of the crash.
Thank you, Pauline. The trial is scheduled to end Friday. If convicted, Stratman could face 5 years in prison.